All right, guys, today we're going to talk about two-step equations. So we've been doing all of those one-step equations with all four operations. So now we're going to move to two-step equations. So in two-step equations, we still have the same goal to get the variable by itself. So the first thing we have to do is undo the addition or subtraction to remove the constant or remove that naked number, the one that doesn't have a variable attached to it. That's the one we want to get rid of first. Okay. Then we're going to undo the multiplication or the division so that we can get the variable by itself. That gets rid of the coefficient in front of our variable. That sounds like a lot of big words, so I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so in this first problem here, we have the first thing I'm going to do is still draw my line down the middle to separate my two sides. And again, you're probably going to want to do these ones on paper so that you guys can actually write out your work, okay? So I separated my two sides because whatever I do to one side, I still have to do to the other side to keep it equal, okay? The first thing I want to get rid of is this naked number that's by itself, okay? So the opposite of adding 8 is taking 8 away, so subtracting 8. So minus 8 on both sides. So if I have positive 8 minus 8, that equals 0. So on this side, I have 6x left over. Okay, and then 50 minus 8 is 42. So now we have that 6x is equal to 42. So now we can worry about this 6. Right now, 6 is being multiplied by x. So that means to undo multiplication, we use division. So we're going to divide by 6 on both sides. So 6 divided by 6 leaves me with 1. So we have just 1x left over here. And then 42 divided by 6 is 7. So we think that x is equal to 7. And I say think because we have to go back and plug it in and try just like we said yesterday. So I'm going to say is 6 times 7 plus 8 equal to 50. Okay, well, I'm going to do 6 times 7 is 42 plus 8. 42 plus 8 is 50. So that works out for me. Always check your answer because that's how you're going to find out if you made a mistake somewhere. And trust me, mistakes are made. I make mistakes all the time. Okay? All right, looking at the next one. You're going to draw your line down the middle to separate your two sides. The first thing we're going to get rid of is that plain number, that naked number. So we're going to get rid of 8. So minus 8 minus 8. So 8 minus 8 is 0. So we're left with c over negative 5 on the right. And on the left, we have 11 minus 8, which is 3. So we have 3 equals c over negative 5. Okay, so right now c is being divided by negative 5, so the opposite is to multiply by negative 5, which leaves us with just one c over here. We're going to multiply by negative 5 on this side. Remember to use your triangle, your plus, minus, minus. So if we have a negative times a positive, we're going to get a negative answer. So 5 times 3 is 15, so negative 15. And again, we're not done because we're going to go check this answer. So we're going to say it's 11 equal to negative 15 divided by negative 5 plus 8. So negative 15 divided by negative 5 is going to give me 3. And 3 plus 8 is 11. So it checks out for us. Okay. All right, moving on down here to the bottom. Let me get my mouse, hold on. All right, on the bottom, our first step is going to be the same. So we're going to get rid of our addition or subtraction. So we're going to say minus 1 on both sides. 1 minus 1 is 0, so we're left with negative 1/3 m, and it's equal to negative 7 minus 1. You're going to go further negative. If I owe you $7 and I borrow one more, I now owe you $8. Okay. Now, to get rid of a fraction, we're going to multiply by its reciprocal. Okay, and we're going to multiply by the negative reciprocal, so then we're left with a positive m. So reciprocal means that we flip the fraction. So we're going to multiply by negative 3 over 1. Okay, because negative 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 3 is 3. And then negative times a negative gives us a positive. So 3 over 3 is equal to 1m. Okay, and on this side, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to put this over 1 times negative 3 over 1. Okay, this one does end up being just multiplying by negative 3, but if it was 2/3, then we would do 3 over 2 and so forth. Okay, so 8 times 3 is 24, and a negative times a negative is a positive, so positive 24. Okay, and again, we're going to go check that answer. So we think that negative 1/3 times 24 plus 1 equals negative 7. So 1/3 times 24 is basically like saying 24 divided by 3, and a negative times a positive is a negative, so negative 8 plus 1 is negative 7. So that works out. Okay. And then our last one here, we're going to divide it under our two sides. Okay, this one is tricky because the division is across both the variable and the naked number right here. It goes across the whole thing. That means we need to undo this division first before we can do anything else. So to undo dividing by 8, we're going to multiply both sides by 8. Okay, so 8 times 8, or 8 times 1 over 8 gets rid of that. So then on this side, we're left with x plus 11. Okay, and then on the right side, we have negative 3 times 8, which is negative 24. And now we're going to solve it just like our one-step ones. So we're going to get the x by itself by doing the opposite of adding 11, which is taking 11 away. So take 11 away from both sides. We're left with x. We're left with x on this side, and then negative 24 minus 11. So I owe you $24, and I borrow 11 more, so that means I owe you $35. So negative 35. And then again, I'm going to go check that answer just to make sure that I was right. So we're saying negative 35 plus 11 over 8 equals negative 3. So negative 35 plus 11 is negative 24 divided by 8. And negative 24 divided by 8 is negative 3. So that works out. So now you can go try your assignment in Schoology.